From the coating to the sandblasting, the washing and the phosphate treatment, our quality control checks are the most rigorous in the industry. We have instituted full part traceability throughout the manufacturing process, and all products are measured and inspected for specification conformity before deployment to you. Locate our factory in Kejabri off the Takrady Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries@rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world. The Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo. Have you heard that Airtel Tigo calls from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Airtel Tigo money transfers are now free on new SIMs? Now you know. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple. And Lydia Contraceptive. With Lydia, you truly decide.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here on The Point of View, we pick the right topics, we get the right guests, and ask them relevant questions on things that matter to you. And it's a live show. If you're watching on television, get in touch with your comments on the WhatsApp number on the screen. If you're watching on any of our social media platforms, please join the stream with your views. We have a big one today. After 3 shows on the voter registration numbers, we're coming back to one of the core issues confronting the country. It's called youth unemployment. It's been described in various ways. My favorite description is that it's a ticking time bomb. We're going to look at it from a very interesting perspective, from the youth employment programs that we've been trying to implement, and look at their effectiveness. I have a very exciting panel. Stay with us. Welcome back. Don't forget, The Point of View is brought to you by Airtel Tigo. Life is simple. So tonight, we look at the very vexed question of youth unemployment. A few days ago was International Youth Day, celebrated in Ghana with a lot of pomp and circumstance. I'll take you to the Alisa Hotel to show you what happened. The MPP's national youth organizer, himself a youth, spoke well prominently. The vice president, the chief of staff, all attended and made lots of interesting comments about the state of the youth and the MPP's achievements. Here's a quick one.
August 12 has been set aside by the United Nations to celebrate and highlight the issues of the youth all over the world. The theme for this year's International Youth Day, Youth Engagement for Global Action, seeks to highlight the ways in which the engagement of young people at the local, national and global levels is enriching national and multilateral institutions and processes. As part of celebrations to mark the day in Ghana, the youth wing of the governing New Patriotic Party chose to celebrate its vibrant youth. Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who was a special guest of honor for the event, said plans were far advanced to ensure all Ghanaians would have their tax identification number by January 2021.
Less than 3 million people in Ghana have a TIN number. So we have decided that we are going to make sure that almost everybody, as much as possible, has a TIN number. And how are we going to do this? It's quite straightforward. All national ID numbers will be converted into TIN numbers starting now. So if you have a national ID number, Once you have a national ID number, from January going, it will become your TIN number.
National organizer of the party, Samuel Ku, tasked the youth of the party to come out with cutting-edge and creative ideas to reach majority of Ghanaians, as the large crowds that come together during political campaigns will not be seen this year due to the coronavirus pandemic.
This year's campaign is going to be a very boring campaign. You will not have the buzz and excitement that goes with youth campaigns, the health walks, the parties, the big rallies. As you also deliberate on what to do, I want you to also think outside the box. Ask yourself, as regional youth organizer, on the day before elections, how do I reach the majority of our youth in my region without a rally? I want you to also engage yourselves in getting us cutting-edge solutions on how to prosecute this campaign in the various localities.
Chief of Staff Frema Akosia-Osei-Opare urged the youth to impress upon disgruntled NPP parliamentary hopefuls who lost in their primaries and intend to contest as independent candidates for the December elections to rescind their decisions.
Please, the primaries are over. Those who are going for so-called independence are many, and some of you know them. I want you to take some initiatives within your communities and engage with these people. Tell them there's a time for everything and bring them back in.
So that was the Chief of Staff ending that report from last week. Now, Ghanaians were asked what's the most important challenge confronting them within this period. Well, it seems as if roads and infrastructure are high on the agenda. But when young people were asked the most important thing they wanted in this period, including the election time, overwhelmingly they chose unemployment. Now, that should say something to you. Let me read a couple of stories about unemployment, and I'll tell you who my guests are. I have in studio a very interesting person. He is running one of government's major flagships for dealing with employment creation. He's in the person of John Kumah. He's the Chief Executive of the NEIP, National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bernard.
I'm also joined by former Chief Executive of the NYA and sitting MP for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak. He's joining us via Zoom. Ras, great to have you on the program.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Bernard.
Great.
And greetings to John.
Hi.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ras.
Let me show both of you what young people are saying about unemployment. It looks like the priorities for the youth in Ghana. There you have it. Unemployment. The most important problem for young people you should have said this is a year of job creation. Mm-hmm. For young people, because don't forget, your people in the video said that this is an election for young people. Mm-hmm. We have 8 million voters who are between 18 and 19 years old. This group say they don't have work, followed by education and infrastructure before health and water supply. Now let me read a story my lecturer William Baboateng we attribute to. So he taught me labor economics a few years ago.
He says, taught me too.
Economics. Legon.
Yeah.
Very good. Youth unemployment and joblessness together constitute a major socio-economic and political problem in Ghana and many other African countries, even though Ghana's growth performance has been quite impressive. With the exception of 2019, when growth fell below 4%, the country's GDP growth has been remarkably high, ranging between 4.3% and 14%. Then it gives the annual average growth. But here's the emphasis. This has not translated into jobs for a rapidly expanding labor force, as employment growth has not kept pace with the strong GDP growth, particularly in the formal sector. This can be seen as a crisis of jobless growth. It is estimated that each 1% of economic growth translates into 0.5% growth in employment, with most new jobs created in the informal sector. These jobs are insufficient to meet the rising number of labor market entrants. Let me go on. While unemployment is a challenge among all age groups, its impact is particularly severe among the youth. Young people tend to have higher rates of unemployment and to engage in vulnerable and informal employment. Young people between the ages of 15 and 35 make up a third of Ghana's population, They enter the job market with different levels of education and with limited or no work experience, which tends to impede their chances of securing productive and formal sector jobs. These difficulties in securing adequately paid and productive jobs after school tends to increase the vulnerability of young people and make them susceptible to social vice as well as source of conflicts and civil disorder. Okay, enough for the intro. Now let's talk about the approach to dealing with youth unemployment. I think the two, because we are in an election season, I'm going to focus on what your political parties and your governments have done, because we have a few months to an election. Young people say they want jobs. So maybe let me come to you first. Okay. You run one of 3 government programs. There's NAPCO, there's National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, and then there's the YEI, Youth Employment Agency. So those are the main 3 programs at NPP, am I correct?
Yes, for the youth focus. But when you want to talk about job creation agencies, you can talk about planting for food and jobs, one district, one factory. All those ones are creating sustainable jobs for young people.
Really?
Oh, yes. So we can talk about those ones as well.
So what is a sustainable job?
It's a job that picks you and allows you to work till maybe you retire or you resign. Not like you come on for a period and you're supposed to move on.
Okay. So let's start with the one you run.
Okay,
you run the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program.
Yes.
I'm on your website.
Okay.
And tell me what it's about, because I see, I think, 4 programs under what you do.
Okay. So the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program basically is about preparing young people to take up self-employment or create their own jobs, which support business advisory services and technical assistance from government in the form of training.
Okay.
And also providing funding assistance. I mean, government has set up a $100 million facility under the NEIP program.
$100 million?
Yes.
To grant or loan?
Both.
Wow.
Yes. The training bit is grant. There is a repayment capital bit, which is 10% interest per annum.
$100 million?
Yes.
For over what period?
Over the 4-year period.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see. So how are you using that money?
Oh, in the past 3 years, we have trained 45,000 business startups across the country. And this year
45,000 business startups?
Yes. Across
Not individuals, businesses?
Yes.
45,000?
45,000.
Is there a record somewhere we can check?
Yes, you can check everywhere. This year alone, we did 26,000. We train 100 in every district, even in the midst of the COVID. You can call any district assembly in Ghana.
Train them in what?
Train them in business entrepreneurship, on how to start your business, how to sustain it, formalization of your business, access to funding, access to market, how you can become self-employed and employ
how long was the
other
training?
people. It's usually over a 1-month period.
100 per district, 260 districts.
So that's about 26. That's even the average. Some places you go and they are like 200.
So you've trained 26,000?
26,000 this year alone.
Where can I find their names?
Oh, it's all over.
Where? Is it on your website? I have a big website.
Yes, we have not. We have all their names.
I'm on the website too.
But I'm talking about, no, this is this year. We just completed the training for 2020. And we are selecting up to 5,000 of them to receive funding from the government. And previously, we had trained 19,000 and funded 3,450 of them.
So this 19,000 from 26,000. So if I have 19,600, that's 45,000.
That's 45,000 that we have done so far.
And you give money to 3,000 of the first group and 5,000. So 8,000 in total. Exactly. How much money are you giving them?
We give from, because this year we went into district, we are giving from 2,000 to 50,000.
Cedis?
Cedis, yes. But previously we were giving 10,000 cedis to 100,000 Ghana cedis.
What kind of businesses are they doing?
All kinds of businesses, from agri sector to ICT to manufacturing to beverages to all kinds of businesses.
So you've trained 45,000 entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneurs across the country.
But how many of them actually started businesses?
Some have just started different stages. Some are even in ideation stage, especially those who come under the presidential pitch and those who come under the campus pitch competitions. And then we also have those who have started and require scale up. you know, and those who are seeking to expand to enter into other markets, among other things.
Really?
Yeah.
If you've spent $100 million, we should see some of the businesses. We should be able to point to them.
All over.
What do they produce? Which is the most successful business under this module, under NEIP module? What are your top 5 businesses?
We have so many successful stories, and they are in video documentaries, which some of them are also published.
Really?
Oh yes.
Should I click on your website? I'm on the website too, NEIP TV.
Yes.
I see some woman sitting there doing some interview. John Kumah, news and events, NEIP Convention Training of 12,000 entrepreneurs, 16 regions. June 10, 2019. Business Development Minister signs MOU with something.
I think we need to update this website with lots of the documentaries that we have done.
$100 million there, your website should be more updated than this one.
Obviously, we need to update the website with more of the success stories, which we are doing. I'm sure by next week, when you go to our website, you'll find more of the uploaded success stories of the various businesses.
Go back to the modules. I want to. You have incubation acceleration program, business competition and business support, industrialization plan, NEIP fund. Are they separate things or they are related to the same thing?
Well, they are related in so many ways. But of course, if you come to NEIP incubation and acceleration program, it's also connected to the business support. Because the support may come through incubating some of the businesses, and we work with private incubation hubs across the country. You know,
really?
Yes, and sometimes some of the university campuses also help us to do this training. You know, because of the intervention of the NEIP program, and I must say that one of the success story of the NEIP program is helping to build the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Ghana. Now we have the Ghana Hub Network, which is made up of private, you know, hub and incubation centers, which are helping to train startups across the country. And we partner them to do the training. So it's not government who does the training. These private consultants carry out the training on behalf of government and help us with the selection of the best businesses that government can invest into.
Wow. But I'm told you cannot entrepreneur your way out of unemployment, because entrepreneurship is something people are born with. So training entrepreneurs doesn't solve the unemployment problem. There's a strong view that way. What's your comment?
Well, I partially disagree with that. It's not everybody who can be an entrepreneur, but it is also not true that you cannot entrepreneur your way out of unemployment.
You can?
You can, and in most cases, those who have become successful entrepreneurs are those who face difficult situations of lack of jobs and began to think about way out and became successful entrepreneurs. You know, but you see, let us not discuss entrepreneurship in Ghana without looking at our history. Ghana is an entrepreneurial nation, and we have been at the top before, where our entrepreneurs competed with the best in the world. Unfortunately, some of them came under serious political attacks. If you look at Mr. J.K. Siam Tata Brewery, he provided thousands of jobs for Ghanaians. But what happened? We confiscated his assets, put his company under SNIT, and later sold to Henninkins. You know Henninkins, Dutch, Holland. They had to come and take over a Ghanaian company. It tells you the level that Ghanaian entrepreneurs could reach. But because of those problems, I mean, don't forget about industrial chemical company like Apia Minken's Apino Soap. You understand? You remember Boachi Matres.
But all these companies were before the year 2000. We've had 20 years of uninterrupted democracy.
Yes, but you
so
see,
we could have corrected that. So you are still taking me to Rawlings and pre-Rawlings.
Yes, but that is how difficult it is when you hit a certain philosophy of a nation. Recovering from it may take quite a long time. You understand? These were pillars of entrepreneurship of our country. And we kind of made them face so much difficulty. Dr. Atuadison of Cement Works, Apente Mensah of Pambro Salt, B.A. Mensah of International Tobacco. I mean, so many of them.
What are you saying? These businesses were destroyed?
They were totally destroyed.
But what has that got to do with youth unemployment?
Yes, it is the foundation of lack of jobs for young people.
Seriously?
Yes, because if we had encouraged all these businesses to do well, Bernard, let me tell you, one statistics I read every day and I...
No, but I'm saying you've had power. Look, all these companies you are mentioning collapsed before Kufuor became president. Kufuor was the president for 8 years.
Yes.
Mahama Mills, another 8 years.
Yes.
Akufo-Addo has done 3 years.
Yes.
So put that together. That's 20 years.
Yes.
Why are you still talking about Apia Menka and Boachi Matres?
What I'm saying is that the impact, okay, and the threat, the example of telling people that if you become a successful businessman, you'll be labeled a thief, you'll be arrested, your company will be taken away from you, and eventually you will die a broke man. How many people want to do such an investment?
I see.
And this our democracy has only been stable for how long? Maybe 30 years?
Since 92.
Yes, that's about 30 years.
Yes.
So people are watching to see when next will another military man take over the governance and say that I've confiscated everything you have done. So the waiting and watching has restrained so many people from doing the necessary investment to bring up the entrepreneurship that will create the jobs. Do you get the point?
Okay, let's pause here.
Okay.
So far, you've talking about the one you run, NEIP. Okay. I know there are others like NAPCO and things. Let me come to Ras Mubarak. You used to run the NYA. Are you able to, and sorry I'm making this political, but it is political because people want jobs. They say it's the most important issue for them in this election, young people. When you were, what is your party's track record or approach to job creation? How different is it from these NAPCO, YE, and all these? It seems like that's the same, both of you have the same approach to job youth unemployment. Create government modules. Is that the case?
Absolutely not, Ben. And once again, let me say good evening to viewers across the world. Once you've introduced politics, let me say I struggled to understand the event that was held on the 12th of August, which is International Youth Day. Because it was International Youth Day, you expected it to have, a national character. Unfortunately, an event that was supposed to galvanize all the young people of the country, ended up being another MPP rally, which was most unfortunate, and I think it was a missed opportunity to bring the youth of Ghana together beyond politics. And one of my struggles was whether or not it was the MPP Youth Wing that organized it or the National Youth Authority that organized it. Having said that, the NBCs, no, I haven't confused the two. I've seen, I've watched pictures and videos of the event where party colors were paraded and
that's the NPP Youth Wing. Different from the NYA organized program.
Okay, so let's be clear. The first day, I wasn't there. I was there on the second and third day. That was NYA invited. Yes, I think the first day, the NPP Youth Wing organized that.
That's a different one.
And then the second and the third day, 13th and 14th were NYA organized.
Exactly.
So the one you're referring to was the NPP Youth one.
Yeah. Because I'm speaking from the clip you...
Yes, this was the first day, 12th August.
This is NPP Youth Wing.
Which is an MPP.
Yes, you are right. MPP Youth.
So in the event, in the spirit of fairness, one would have expected that, you would introduce some things that the NDC had also done to commemorate Youth Day. But having said that, our approach to solving the youth bulge, and indeed you were right in your introduction when you stated that it is a ticking time bomb. That is what it is, because you have a lot of young people in our country, who are energetic and whose energies are not galvanized and harnessed. And, if it continues like that, clearly it poses not just a serious threat to our economy, but also it brings about national security threat, because these young people would ultimately and obviously get so frustrated that they may want to divert their energies into something else. And indeed, we'll have to, ensure that we are nudging them towards.
So what is your party's approach to youth unemployment?
What we did, Bernard, and again, my sadness is that if you look at the program we had, the Youth Enterprise Support Fund, which is YES, which unfortunately my friends have renamed No or No, was meant to support young people. And Bernard, when we're talking about young people, we're talking about young people between the ages of 18 and 35. So it wasn't for nothing that President Mahama felt that, look, it is the youth that are disadvantaged, and indeed it is the youth who needed a lot of support. Unfortunately, so when we were in government, what we had was age restrictions. So the YES program was strictly and exclusively to support young people, in the area of entrepreneurship.
Has that changed?
That has changed very sadly, because what the MPP has done is to remove the age restriction, to allow just about anybody to apply for support. So it's no longer a youth program. We had the youth in mind, and our approach was to support young people up and down the country with startup capital. And indeed, we also recognize that entrepreneurship is the way to go. We needed to move away from the culture of depending on the public sector to absorb and recruit young people who are graduating from various universities up and down the country. And for that reason, we needed to provide funding that would support young people who want to be their own job, givers instead of job seekers.
But he says that they had $100 million. I think when YES was launched, it was 10 million initially. I don't know if it was
10 million cedis.
10 million cedis.
It was indeed 10 million cedis. But don't forget,
they had $100 million.
What they had inherited a structure that was already put in place with staff. If you look at the greenhouse project the president launched recently, for instance, it was a culmination of things that we had done over the years. So there's a difference. Another difference is the fact that you can't tackle the youth of unemployment without looking at the economy generally and how you are putting in place the various building blocks to support young people. Bernard, you are a keen follower of economic activities, and you would know the dire straits the economy of Ghana was in, especially 2015, 2016, when commodity prices across the globe plummeted, and so that affected government's ability to deal with certain things. But having said that, that did not stop us from creating over 600,000 jobs, up and down the country.
600,000 jobs. Under which program?
Several programs, as a matter of fact, and I can
take me through the list. I want to know.
I can give you a list of programs. So if you look at the Skills Development Fund implemented under CODVET, for instance, the government of Ghana under John Dramani Mahama, disbursed a total of 150 million cedis to 655 businesses, which ended up training about 96,000, almost 100,000 people in vocational technical skills across the country. So that is for CODVET alone, right? And if you look at I'm just going through the skills just for a second. If you look at the program we did under the Free Zones Board, we had a total of about 69 companies that benefited from between 2015 and 2016, and these 69 companies ended up creating about 16,000, almost 17,000 jobs up and down the country.
Really?
Yes.
What's the name of the Free Zones program? Because I have a list of your programs on the screen. There's WAYE, there's NVTI, there's GBSS. These are the public programs. Gratis Foundation, Youth in Cocoa, Youth in Agric, MDPI, FC something, Corporate something, MVTI. There's a second sheet as well. These are, there's, I think CODVET is there, GSDI, CODVET, 2 different programs, Real Enterprises Program, yes, which is there, Maslock, I don't know if it's you.
Maslock is also there.
But you said you've created 600,000 jobs. Now give me the breakdown. You're telling me CODVET did 655 businesses, train 100,000 people. Training is not the same as job creation. 69 companies, train 16,000 people. So that's 116,000.
Under the free zones, what we did, and indeed that in terms of our calculation of jobs we created, we are looking at new jobs that have been created, contrary to what our friends in the MPP do, which is to count replacement of staff that are exiting from public institutions. So when they are doing the calculation for jobs they've created, they would count, for instance, recruitment into the security service, into police, military, fire service, and the rest of it. But we're talking about new jobs that were tailor-made to supporting young people. If you look at my agency, for instance, the National Youth Authority, we did the law, the National Youth Authority Act 2016, that saw a guaranteed source of funding. Because, Bernard, in dealing with issues of creating jobs for young people, one of the things you should look at is funding. Okay, so what we inherited from the Kufuor administration was that a lot of the youth programs didn't have guaranteed source of funding. So if you look at YEA, if you look at NYA, for instance, all of these eventually under John Mahama had guaranteed source of funding. Under the NYA in 2014 and 15, and even 2016, our budget was less than $1 million Ghana cedis. And this was even at the behest of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. When they felt strongly about it, you know, you get a few crumbs thrown at you to support youth activity. So we did something that was very radical, something that had not been done over the 40-year history of the NYA by, you know, doing a new law that would give a guaranteed source of funding
You've made that point
for youth activities.
Russ, I wanted you to give me evidence of the at least some more breakdown of the 600,000 jobs, because Mr. Kumah tells me he did 45,000 people trained under NEIP, 8,000 people got money. You are saying you created 600,000 jobs, and I'm not getting the full breakdown. I'll take a break so you can come back to that. I'll also come to Mr. Kumah on other modules, because there's all kinds of things. There's youth in entrepreneurship, youth in paid internship, youth in Costa, all kinds of things. And then, of course, the NAPCO. This is the point of we are trying to see whether these two leading parties' approach to youth unemployment is sustainable. And it's looking interesting so far. This is the point of view. Stay with us.
Morning. I just sent you Airtel to go money from my new number. We delivered 2 healthy kids last night. Congrats. Have you heard? Kwesi has
2 kids. Have you heard?
My son has 2 kids. Abazi. No. Now your sister almost 7. Have you heard the news about the missing chicken?
Have you heard? Get free calls and free Airtel Tigo money transfers for 6 months on new Airtel Tigo SIMs. Get a SIM.
Looking really good.
Welcome back to The Point of View. Tonight we're trying to examine the issue of youth unemployment. It's a time bomb. Lots of young people interviewed by CDD. They say the most important issue for them this election is unemployment. John Kumah is the Chief Executive of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. He says he's trained 45,000 people, giving money to 8,000 of them. Ras Mubarak used to head NYA under NDC. He says in the John Mahama period, or is this Mills and Mahama? This is John Mahama period. They created 600,000 jobs. He's showed me only 116,000. I'm looking for the rest. But I wanted to just come to Mr. Kumah, because I think, what is your response? You've had 3.5 years.
Yes.
Let's assume he's right, that it is 600K jobs. How many have you done?
Well, the Vice President announced on the Youth Day that government has so far created 2 million jobs. But before I go...
For young people or for everybody?
Obviously, young people will be the majority of these jobs opportunities when they are created.
Because don't forget, your Minister of Agriculture said plenty of people just have created all kinds of jobs.
Yes, it will be under number of jobs that we have created.
So in total, in 3.5 years, you've created 2
million jobs, as announced by His Excellency the Vice President on the Youth Day. And the
for young people of everybody, you are not sure?
Well, for us, working class people, majority of them will be young people. I don't have the specific age.
Okay, what's the breakdown of the 2 million?
No, I don't have the specific breakdown right now.
But you can't just mention a figure.
I've made reference.
So far, I'm not taking the 600,000. But you're not giving 100,000.
I've made reference to you. I've been on this program with the data before. Today, I don't have it. So, because the discussion was on entrepreneurship.
No, it was on youth unemployment.
Youth unemployment. Let me go straight to the discussion. He made a point about yes. Today, I decided to come to the studio with the handing over notes of yes. Okay, so that Ghanaians can assess the difference between the NDC kind of job creation and the NPP kind of job creation. If you go to page 21 to 23, they list number of beneficiaries who receive funding under President Mahama. They are 66. Okay, it's here.
But what are those 66 people doing?
Well, poultry, rabbitry, piggery, those were the people they funded.
But the list is there.
The list is there, yes.
I was asking you to give me your list.
No, we have
you said you've done 45K.
Yes, I can bring you the list. And I'm saying that if all they did was 66, because we haven't handed over
Can
yet.
I see the 66?
66 individual beneficiaries, okay, in their period. This is their handing over notes. Go to page 21 and 22 and 23.
Does that include the what you call it, the what was launched?
The Greenhouse Project.
The Greenhouse Project, because the former chief executive says
Take your time. I will come to the Greenhouse Project.
Okay.
He funded 66 in his period, in his whole years.
But it's just 2.3 million cedis.
Yes, that's what they gave to 66 beneficiaries. Can you confirm
yes, this is
that?
funded beneficiaries.
Yes. How many?
66.
Thank you.
And you give how much?
We have done 45,000 training and funded.
And where's the list?
Oh, don't worry. We haven't handed over yet. This is your handing over notes. Don't worry. We have the list.
Bernard,
don't worry about that.
Of the debate,
and Bernard, so far, almost 10,000. If you add the other models like the presidential page, disability entrepreneurs for women and male, if you add all those ones, we have funded over 10,000 business startups and individuals in the country. Okay, compared to their 66. So that is one.
But why
that is not.
No, I'll come back to you.
We will get to that.
Just hold on. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Secondly, the issue of the greenhouses. The NEIP, the yes former CEO, started putting up 24 of these greenhouses under President Akufo-Addo. Bernard, I had my appointment letter.
The former CEO?
Yes.
Under Akufo-Addo?
Yes. Okay. I had my appointment letter in February 2017. I was asked to assume office on May 9, 2017. From January to May 2017, that was when the 24 greenhouses were put up in the Wenya. Okay? Let me tell you, in this country, President Mahama was commissioning artistic impression and drawings of projects. If he had done the greenhouses in the Wenya, he would have commissioned it before he left.
But let me read something for you. From your own document.
Yes,
page 2. Subsequently, we purchased 75 greenhouses for the implementation of this program.
Exactly.
And this is currently being installed by Envirodome UG.
Exactly.
The cost of the greenhouses is 4.6 million, excludes other ancillary
Exactly.
works. Then it says, the beneficiaries working currently at Dowenya.
Exactly.
We have signed 3 MOUs.
Exactly.
So it looks like they did the work before.
No, what work did they do? I'm saying that
they signed MOU and they did.
Oh, but if you sign MOU, is that work? I'm saying that.
No, but they purchased 75 greenhouses.
But what I'm telling you is that they did not install even a single dome under President Mahama. You understand? But of course, you can give it to them. Maybe the processes of acquisition, the tender on all those things might have happened before 2017. But all the 75 greenhouses have been established under President Akufo-Addo. And the CEO left office in May. From January to May, every work that was done under President Akufo-Addo. Let me ask you, the irrigate projects, is it not President Akufo who started? I'm asking you.
Sorry,
President Akufo started the hospitals, the irrigate loan that they used to finance those district hospitals. President Akufo started, President Mills continued. When President Mahama continued, go and check his green book, he's taking all the credit. The Legon Hospital, who started it? President Mills. Why is it that they give it to President Mahama? So whoever executes takes the credit because government funds anyway. These greenhouses were completely financed by Exim Bank, formerly EDIF. It's a government of Ghana project. It's not anybody's pocket money. But if you are talking about the time of execution, it's happening under President Akufo-Addo. And I'm saying that if the NDC claimed they did all these greenhouses, they would have commissioned it when they were commissioning artistic impressions.
Let me just try and clarify something. That's fair.
But that being said, I am very disappointed in those in NDC who are using words like deception and thievery and all that, and refusing to give credit to President Nana Akufo-Addo.
Let me read the story.
Let
me read the story just to be clear.
So that I can react to it. So that I can react to it.
Please put the story up. I just want to be sure of what we are all discussing.
Yes, because listen, these same people, when we don't continue a project, they come to say, oh, they have abandoned the project.
No, I just want to be clear on this.
When you complete a project under you, they say, oh, you have stolen it, you have deceived the public. We don't know the kind of development the NDC, the kind of position they are giving, whether they are not interested in development of Ghana.
Okay, the story is published by the Herald.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys have it. Former Chief Executive of Yes, Helga Boedi, says administration started and paid for the 75 greenhouse enclave at Dowenya before leaving office in early 2017.
She left debt.
No, but the handing over says she paid for it.
But is that all the cost?
No, let's go on. The Akufo-Addo administration claims the project is an initiative of the Ministry of Business Development being implemented by the NEIP to train youth in greenhouse farming. The government has further claimed that they had to secure fresh funding for the project because the initial funding failed. The Yes former Chief Executive Helga Boedi told Senna Numbo on the Gold Power Drive that Akufo-Addo government's claims are untrue. According to her, at the time she left office, everything needed for the installation of the 75 units were in place. She said the contractor had finished the work on 24 out of the 75 units before he left office. Before she left office.
When did she leave office?
The former Yes CEO said the only thing her successor needed to do was supervise the installation of the remaining 51. She said she visited the site with the CEO of NEIP, John Kumah, to update him on the progress of work before handing over. Is this correct?
Which is true.
She has since said that all 75 units made up of 74 units and a nursery were paid for and installation ongoing before she left office. She said she is hurt by attempts by the current administration to claim credit for both the initiative and the project. Then the Herald then goes on to give some other details.
But that's very funny. You see, if a president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, allows you to stay in office from January to May, when I had my appointment letter in February, and instead of you thanking him for giving you opportunity to work under him, you want to give credit to President Mahama, and because of that you are hurt?
No, she signed the MOU and she bought 75 greenhouses. You just installed it.
So what? Does President Mahama know what President Mills did under the Legon Hospital? Huh? What about the Eurogate project that President Kufuor brought? And he is taking credit. Who did the project?
So he who finishes the project takes the credit.
But that has been the culture.
So if you continue the culture.
And I'm saying that even the former CEO, she knows that President Akufo-Addo allowed her to be in office for 5 months.
Okay, I wanted to...
Whilst I had my letter, and instead of you to show gratitude and thank the president, this is what you are talking about.
I wanted to just do something quickly. Ras, you say your module, your method of solving youth unemployment is different from MPP. It seems very similar because I am on the youth employment program page. It's very similar. So they have youth in community service and security,
but you see,
community and health assistance,
similar.
Youth in sport, youth in entrepreneurship. Which is even funny because you have entrepreneurship, NEIP. So why do you have youth in entrepreneurship again? Youth in paid internship, youth in agriculture, youth in sanitation.
The NDC have SADA, they have JIDA, they have LESDEP, they have YESDEP. All these things collapsed even while they were in government. You can't compare that to NEIP or any of the interventions. That's the record of the NDC. They used to have for better Ghana services, patching potholes.
Ras Mubarak needs to hear. Ras Mubarak.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me? Ras, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Good. I was saying that there doesn't appear to be a difference in the approach of the two parties. It's always the multiplicity of programs. I showed the programs under your government, about 16 programs. I mean, MPP, I've seen 22 programs, 4 under NEIP, 11 under YE, 7 under NAPCO. So it looks like the approach is to just create programs and modules.
No. There is clarity, absolute clarity on the approach to solving youth employment under the NDC administration as against what the MPP is doing. And I've given you a while ago examples of how the MPP has even changed YES to NOP, which was targeted at young people. First of all, the things that John said in respect of only 69 jobs that were created, 66. It's not even true. In 2015, Bernard, under the NDC, As a matter of fact, President Mahama at the program, gave a presentation to the 100 batch of YES beneficiaries. This was in 2015, reported widely. Secondly, John Kumah himself.
Okay, hold on.
No.
Sorry, John Mahama did what? Because in your handing over, it says 66 people were trained. Is there? I saw it.
No.
66 people were given funding. We're giving funding.
No, but those were not the only beneficiaries. They were in cohorts.
But your handing over notes would have mentioned all of that.
That's the whole thing.
No.
Is it for only 2016?
No. In 2015, 100, and you can Google it. You can let the producers Google it right now. President Mahama gave awards to 100 beneficiaries of YES support. Is
that different from the 66?
That is completely different from the 66, and I'm so surprised that John Kumah is,
I just don't find something. You go on. I wanted to just go on.
You see, Ben, what we need to do is to stay focused on the issues. We're dealing with youth unemployment, and which administration has been committed to solving youth unemployment.
So we shouldn't allow those 100. We need to see it.
I'm dealing with the data. I mean, here you are in the studio claiming you actually came with your predecessors handing over note, but yet you couldn't find it. But you couldn't find it necessary to bring evidence of what you have done. No, where's the evidence of what you have done? But if I were to, stay focused on the point I'm making, the point is that a lot of young people have been supported up and down the country. And Bernard, you're talking about some numbers I've given you. I could go further to give you some more.
Yes, you said you have created 600,000 jobs, but you've not mentioned even.
And then you have disbursed to 100 people, and we don't have the data to.
No, just relax.
100? No.
I asked you for the 2 million. You say you don't have the breakdown. I'm asking for the
speech.
The 600,000. You've only given me. You just mentioned that 655 businesses were created and 100,000 people were trained. How does training people become a job created? How does training 100,000 people result to 600,000 jobs?
It results in 600,000 jobs because there are several job creation opportunities. For instance, government through the Exports, Trade and an Industry Development Fund supported industries to the tune of 245 million Ghana cedis, an amount used to fund various projects in the pharmaceutical sector, in textile, sector, and other areas that have resulted in jobs. Government under the NDC paid a lot of contractors, which yes, I mean, John Kumah may decide to pass
gentlemen, I'm just trying to say, you see, training somebody in entrepreneurship or whatever does not equate into a job. In fact,
if you give somebody startup capital,
but that's the point.
The person started. Yeah, but
you won't. You've not proved. Hold on. Let's not confuse the issue. You said you've created 600,000 jobs. Fair enough.
Yes.
And I said, which areas, what sectors? And you say you trained 100,000 people. I was trained at the university. Being trained doesn't equate into creating a job.
No. I was giving you a breakdown when you interjected. In the agri sector.
What's the breakdown?
In the agri sector, we created a lot of jobs. In the pharmaceutical sector, in the education sector. I mean, look at the number of training institutions we built up and down the country.
But what
schools.
Is the breakdown of the 600,000?
You wouldn't expect that. You wouldn't expect. Yeah, but I mean, the way you...
No, but you see, because you are not answering my question. I have asked you a simple question. You've created 600,000 jobs. What is the breakdown? Agri sector, how many? Road sector, how many? Give me that breakdown.
If 2,000 contractors are paid to continue working, you would expect that there would be a snowball effect on their work. As we speak, a lot of local contractors have not been paid under the NEIP. So people are sitting at home. As we speak, a lot of people have lost their jobs because banks have gone bust under the NPP. People and their dependents.
So how many contractors over what period?
Between 2013 and 2015, you're talking about you're talking about 4,600 contractors, local contractors in various sectors.
Amounting to how many jobs?
Amounting to several thousands of jobs, obviously.
Yeah, but we are doing it's a numbers game. So if you say 600,000,
it's a numbers game.
So you can't tell me what is several.
Ben,
can I come in now?
If you don't have the filler, if you don't have the filler now, you want to come later. Let's go. But don't tell me.
No. You see, when you called about this program,
yeah, but he also comes from the 600, the 2 million. So both of you are the same.
He hasn't even given you a breakdown of 1,000 jobs.
Okay, you have 100,000. You have 100,000 people trained. How is that? I'm saying that training is not the same as job. And he hasn't also given me any breakdown. So both of you are the same.
But listen, in dealing with youth unemployment,
yes,
I've indicated to you that you need to look at it differently from our traditional way of creating jobs. Traditionally, it has been about young people depending on the public sector to absorb them. The NDC had created an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. I mean, which period in Ghana's history have we seen the service sector of our economy, for instance, grow astronomically?
All right.
Under the NDC, which sector have we seen industry grow astronomically?
Clearly, under the NDC. I'm trying hard to understand. I want evidence. Okay, he gave 600,000. I didn't have the evidence. You mentioned 2 million.
No, but
I mentioned 2 million. I don't have the evidence.
Okay, but the evidence is clear. In fact, I have been on this program with details of 1.5 million last year, if you remember, or the last time I was on this program with the details.
But you couldn't remember to come on with this.
But if I knew that was going to be the discussion, I've brought it. But I have referred my source.
Yes.
The Vice President has announced that the various, and I've sent you the link.
Who believes the Vice President?
No, we can. It's an authority of the country. You can check. But look, what's the record of the NDC? Apart from their abysmal performance,
but both of you seem to prefer talking about each other than answering the question on the table.
But the question I've answered you, I'm saying that the record of the NDC is SADA. And we know the record of SADA. The Guinea fowls have not returned from Burkina Faso.
No,
but that's the kind of jobs they created. We are talking about Jida.
No, please. Wants to reduce the argument about creating
I'm just
jobs.
giving you your record.
I'm
take
not
it easy.
upset.
The record of the NDC is Jida.
If you want us to go at each other,
take it easy. I listen to you. Just relax. I'm just giving you your record.
Let me read the Vice President's story.
Your record is less than.
I want to see whether the Vice President gave evidence. The Akufo-Addo government has created 2 million jobs since coming into office. Vice President Dr. Bawumia has said at a meeting with the youth wing of the governing MPP on Wednesday, August 12th, to mark International Youth Day, Dr. Bawumia said the government has collated the job numbers created since 2017 and the total 2 million. Over the last 3.5 years, he noted we have developed and implemented many initiatives designed to place the youth at the forefront of national development.
Exactly.
When you look at the jobs we've created, when we've decided to do proper accounting of the jobs we have created, sometimes they are all over the place. And you have to sit down and get together the various people, different ministries, SNIT, to get a good sense of what jobs we have done. Full-time equivalent, not temporary jobs. What are the full-time equivalent jobs that we have created in the last 3.5 years? And I'm happy to tell you that we have created over 2 million full-time equivalent jobs in that public and private formal sector since 2017. And this is inclusive of government's job creation programs and initiatives such as Planting for Food and Jobs, NAPCO Graduates Program, NEIP, and so on.
Thank you.
But that's not a breakdown.
But you don't expect him at this point to give you the detailed breakdown. And I'm saying I've given you the breakdown before, but if you still insist, I can get it for you. Let me tell you, under Planting for Food and Jobs, compare that to SADA and JIDA. We have created jobs. Under NAPCO, 100,000 individuals.
Let me take a short break.
Let me take a short break.
Jobs you are not paying these young people. Jobs you are not paying these young people.
Those who sat home for 3 and 4 years. They're giving jobs under NAPCO.
I'll take a short break. When I come back,
we'll continue.
I need a breakdown.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. Let me come back. Let me read a few of your comments quickly. Good evening. Can you ask John Kumah whether the jobs he's talking about are for Ghanaians or MPP faithful or delegates of his constituency? Additionally, what happened to the seed capital of 10 million for NEIP? But it seems both NDC and MPP are interested in youth development during election year. I'd like to commend all the youth that have been able to create jobs for other youth to get their daily bread. We can do without politicians. Councillor Joe Bexon, Ashoman Estate. Bernard, you see the way you are surprised, saying read it like 5 times. It's the same way I'm dumbfounded here. The CEO can't even mention the top 5 of their success stories. $100 million. We are joking. Bernard, please tell John Kumah know that he's speaking English. He should mention the enterprises that he has translated into serious jobs. Peter Pokwasi.
1001.
Good evening. I'm watching your program and I can see the numbers Mr. Kumah is churning out are not accurate. Kindly ask John Kumah why did NEIP not open the current module to the public but decided to do it through the assemblies, which eventually selected MPP supporters for the funding. Kojo from McCarthy Hill. Good evening. It's very sad to be a Ghanaian youth looking at how the two political parties are playing politics with the future of this country. NAPCO, yes, very great initiative, but how on earth should we be at post without permanent placement, and yet the government is bringing in staff who can't even do a simple office work, all in the name of politics? Mahmoud in Sunyai. Let me give you a minute to respond to some of these.
Especially the application procedure.
Yes.
You know, we did the first 2 years through online application, and the feedback was that those in the rural communities, in the rural districts, were having challenges with the application process. So we needed to decentralize and go to each district assembly and municipal assembly across the country. So I'm not sure only NPP faithfuls were selected. All those with businesses that had opportunity, and it's across the country in every district. So it's not every time that it's going to be online. Depending on the feedback, we are able to change the application procedure to allow everybody to benefit. And as for beneficiaries of our programs, I'm sure there are 1,001, and we have the numbers and the individuals. If anybody wants to meet some of these beneficiaries, we have them all over the places. On our website, we are going to upload the video documentaries of how many people have benefited. There are so many of them in all sectors. And it's not like I cannot mention 5 or 10. I mean, the program speaks for itself. Even under presidential pitch alone, we have Aisha Golu, who has now opened a factory at Asaliman, who has opened a factory at Golu in Liman's hometown. The lady who won the first presidential pitch. Yeah. We have 2 KNUST students who are manufacturing ladies pad with banana stems. The young guy, Akogo, who just won the last presidential pitch, he is using shea butter waste to do briquettes in the Upper East region. Among many others, mosquito repellent, those who are into shoemaking.
From $100 million, that's pitiful.
Obviously, but go and check those who are into coffee processing. That's the $100 million. Check the 45,000 people you have trained compared to your 66 in what you did in 8 years in office. Clearly, the impact of the program is huge. And anybody who is watching can compare what the NDC comes to do in 8 years and what the NPP can do in 3 years. So we have the record of the NDC. Like I said, it's JIDA, it's SADA, it's YesDep, it's LesDep. It's those things they use to create loot and share. But if you look at the record of the NPP, we are talking about one district, one factory. We are talking about planting for food and jobs. Of course, we know the number of jobs that have been created.
Let me give him a minute to respond.
We are talking about YEA Job Center. We are talking about tax holidays for young startups to start their businesses.
John Kumah, you've had your day. But you see, we are diagnosing the problem wrongly.
But you were talking when I was talking.
We are diagnosing the problem wrongly because you start off with a premise that it is government that creates all of these jobs for young people. And if you're going to look at, employment from that perspective, you're going to get it completely wrong. What governments all over the world, that are interested in supporting their young people, indeed all job seekers, is to create an enabling environment. It's to facilitate, is to make sure that both the micro and the macro are good to support industry and to support everyone else, to get jobs. And that has been the focus of the NDC administration. And hopefully when we get another shot at the presidency or government, that is what we're going to do. Decent jobs for Ghanaians through partnerships, with the private sector, decent jobs for young people we would not, open up age restrictions that were put in place to specifically support young people.
So that can help only 66, right? When millions need support.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Can support only 66 in 8 years.
Thank you very much.
You put restrictions to support only 66. When 45,000 are waiting.
This has been the point of view. We're talking to the CEO of the NEIP, John Kumah, and also the former CEO of the NYA, who's also the MP for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak, trying to understand the different approaches to solving youth unemployment. And so there you have it. Thank you for watching. My name is Bernard Avle. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo. Have you heard that Airtel Tigo calls from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Airtel Tigo money transfers are now free on new SIMs? Now you know. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple. And Lydia Contraceptive. With Lydia, you truly decide.
I know. Like, you don't need to remind me. I know, like,
DJ Selector, give me the song. Give me the song.
I'm in Jesse. I'm in Pastor Jesse. I know, guys. I know. No one should come.
One shout.
I know.
One shout.
One shout.
You can see already. She brought herself.
Oh yes.
To the firing squad.
I have brought myself to you guys.
Thank you.
Today. Not for trolling. Just to let you people know that I'm patriotic.
You're what?
Excuse you.
Excuse
you.
You hate to see it, and we love to see it.
Whatever.
You get what I'm saying? It's too no shame.
Hi.
Even
everyone.
On the other side, they still score them. Oh no, guys! All of you who were Chelsea fans and other fans, I need you on board. You get me? I can't do this alone. You understand?
I'm here for you.
We are doing this for you.
She's
not your girl anymore.
Whatever it is, full support.
Charlie,
now you think I get to joke.
Charlie, welcome to 30 Minutes, your number one and favorite social media show in the whole wide world with yours truly. You might know support AK Olele Samur on Twitter
and I am Nadoli Mofat on Twitter. It's na_Mofat, but my AKA is Mole.
Yo, Team Mole, Team Olele in the building. You know how we roll. Okay, the hashtag is 30 Minutes. The WhatsApp line is 0550 585832. Today is a celebration. We are celebrating one of the greatest to ever do it in the music business. We are talking about King Sark. All right, he made history yesterday with his Black Loud virtual concert. My oh my. Charlie.
See, some of the comments, they were saying the concert, you have to watch it with earpiece.
Yeah, to enjoy the experience.
Feel
Charlie. We can't wait to open up, what went down yesterday. This was like about what? Last night, right?
Last night.
Yeah, last night. And all the issues surrounding that particular concert. The devil is a liar. And what else do we have today?
Yes. Olele.
I know what you're going to ask me.
When you are beautiful and plus size. Me, I want to be plus size in future. No, I know I should come after me.
You want to what?
I want to be gay. Please don't lie to us that you are doing something that you are not doing, because your husbands are not happy with it at all. And then we have coronavirus.
Charlie. You know what? For the sake of time, we're going to go for a brief commercial break. When we come back, we talk all things trending, including coronavirus. We'll be right back.
You guys, they're laughing at me.
Oh, it's
my
a party.
Barca fans, come and rescue me. They are laughing at me.
How are you going to be rescued?
I don't understand.
Even the Barcelona team themselves are in.
Yo. Stay in your lane.
As you can see, I'm in my lane. But we ain't gonna let it slip. Okay, 8-2. Hey, in your own house.
We like.
How can you beat somebody in his own house?
We like. Or if you don't like. We like. Chelsea said we've not even spoken about it.
Please, Chelsea, you had to take 2 matches to beat us.
It's okay. Can
you just 1 match. So imagine just 1 match. 8-2. Imagine if it was the second leg.
So let's move to our corona update.
We're going to move. Let's go now. Coronavirus.
Yes. So confirmed cases now stands at 42,653. Active cases 1,847. New cases 121. Recoveries and discharge 40,567. And unfortunately, our death stands at 239.
Yeah. I mean, we can't even get tired of talking about this because sometimes the things we see on social media and WhatsApp statuses and Instagram, whatever, they are just appalling. It's like Corona does not exist. It's like it's become a myth. People are not observing any of the things we speak of.
Okay.
But hey, you don't want to be unfortunate. Nope. You don't want your family member to be unfortunate. So you know what to do. Wash your hands under running water with soap for 20 seconds. Always remember to stay strapped with your hand sanitizer and, of course, your face mask. And this is what I even don't like.
What?
The videos that we see, people are partying, no social distancing. Wear the face mask to
allow, but still, you can party. Yes, you can. Shall I miss if I wish I'm partying?
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. If wishes were horses, if wishes were horses, I bet we are all going to ride.
You know the way you want to.
We haven't been out for a very long time.
See, the way you want to. I've not even done it, like the way you want to.
Charlie, you guys need to cool down. And the president is thinking of opening the borders, somewhere in September. That means enjoyment is ahead. You understand? December approach it.
So you have to be sure that you are very, very well.
You understand?
You don't have coronavirus.
Yeah, well, the December you're going to enjoy some. You understand? Head mistress to take care of you.
Yes, I've got you. Anytime.
All right, Charlie, moving on to more exciting news. And last night, history was made.
Oh my God. It was beautiful. It was
the man you see in your picture,
beautiful.
Sarkodie.
It was beautiful.
Oh, my goodness.
It was beautiful.
My goodness. So, Sarkodie hosted his first virtual concert known as the Black Love Virtual Concert over the weekend, and it was supposed to be powered by Seek. Now, an interesting happened prior to the launch of the stream, and a few may have known this, but the website had crashed.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, over 3 million hits. Wow, with Ghana topping the chart with 1 million hits.
Who supports Nebian?
Hey, you see, this is what we love to see. This is what we love.
We support our own, and it was good, but we were just not happy that the website had crashed because people were really, really, really anticipating, and they had to register. But it was good that later on it was streamed on Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, I believe so. What City TV know is that the Seek platform is actually hosted by a Ghanaian, and Sarkodie thought that, hey, why don't
patronize my own after all Black Love?
Fantastic. All right, so we're going to go through some of the highlights that transpired over the concert. And
yesterday.
We had the likes of Kidi coming through. We had our own Shatawale.
Have you seen Kidi? Chill. Please, can we go back to Kidi, please?
Kidi's new look. That's for the ladies.
Have you seen Kidi?
Sugar daddy.
Have you seen Kidi?
I don't know what you're seeing. I've seen him. I don't know what else are you seeing.
You can see.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
I just see a young man with red shades and afro hair.
I love his hair.
I bet he hasn't visited the barbering shop because of Corona. He has black hair. He has black hair now.
It was some of the things we were talking about, like the hair looks black.
It's black.
Is this some Yomo?
Yomo special.
But he really looked good. He really looked good.
Yeah, and of
he
course.
He shouldn't go and do dreads, so. Because we like him like
looks
this.
like it's coming, because you've seen his brother do that already. And there you have it. History once again being told you know, on the stage. Yeah. Shutterstock, polygamous entity, don't fornicate.
Did you watch it?
Oh,
Did you
yes,
watch it?
I loved it.
It was like they wanted to kiss.
Yeah,
They were all over
the bromance. You know, the bromance was unmatched. Okay. I don't know if some of you caught the performance. We did, and we decided to share with you on 30 minutes. So here you have Shatta Wale and Sak sharing the stage together on the Black Love virtual concert.